Hey pals, Peeps here. Thanks for dropping in. It's the NBA Finals, and I'm doing what I'm calling halftime rips. I wish I would have thought of this before the finals had started, but hey, better late than never. Why don't we do a little halftime rip here? I'm going to do one for every halftime of every game going forward in the NBA Finals. I'm enthralled. I've got the fever. I'm going to do it for the Stanley Cup Finals as well, for each intermission, so double the fun there. And the backdrop is going to be sort of iconic cards from my collection, or ones I didn't take too long. I just kind of pulled out a handful of cards here for the backdrop. A lot of titles on these cards. Of course, you've got the 96 Topps Kobe. That is my Kobe rookie. We've got the 86 Fleer Michael Jordan. I did a video on this long ago. This is pack pulled. I was 12 years old opening these up, and pulled this myself, subbed a bunch of these, and the one and only Jordan that I got out of those packs came back a 7. It's a beauty, I gotta say. It is really well centered. It is a stunning 7. Anyway, I digress. That's my Jordan. This one I showed off. I picked it up, I want to say maybe 2 years ago. Finally, the 1972 Topps number 195 Dr. J rookie card. Beautifully centered here with the squires. What a beautiful design. A stunning 4. And just this past year, I did finally pick up the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, as the camera doesn't want to focus. The Kareem Abdul-Jabbar you see there in the back, of course, it's a tall boy. I believe I showed that. If I haven't, why not just grab it? Halftime rips, everybody. We're just checking it out. This is my Kareem rookie. As I said, a tall boy, bigger slab, 2.5 in an SGC, really well centered, a beauty of a 2.5, and that is my recommendation with this card in particular, with most cards, but with this card, centering can be really tough. So if you can find a low grade, well centered, unscuffed copy, that was what I was looking for. All right, moving left to right, I've got my 86 Fleer Larry Bird sticker. That's one I sent in for grading myself. Came back a 9, very nice. And Larry Legend, of course, had to have him on the board, and picked this up maybe a year and a half ago, or a year ago, when the Timberwolves were making another push, and I had the fever there, and was looking for sort of an earlier refractor of KG. Landed on this 2000 Topps Chrome in a 9, got it for a nice price, and it is fabulous. I mean, look at that image. How are you going to beat that? It's done a breakaway dunk with the leg kicking finish. The ball has gone through the hoop, and KG with sort of just a classic finish. Here's the back of that one. I think this will be my most recent purchase out of the bunch here, probably a year ago or so. All right, let's do this halftime rip. I've got random packs here, and I'm just taking a look. We've got a classic 90 hoops. We've got a 93, 94 Ultra, and a 92, 93 Series 2, which I don't think I have many of these left. These could contain one per hobby box, a Beam Team. And those were awfully tough, and they are awfully popular. So we'll leave that one for last. Let's start with the hoops and see how we do here. We are at the half, and it's the NBA Finals. And how about we start things off with a Spud Webb? Spud Webb. I've got a Spud Webb. Here's a side note. I've got a 86 Fleer Spud Webb rookie card off at PSA currently. It's been sitting there a while. It's a really nice copy, so I figured I'd get it in there. Mark Price, legendary guard for the Cavs. Tom Chambers for Phoenix. Roy Tarpley. Kenny Smith. Kenny the Jet. Let's flip it over here. These are going to be every which way. Terry Teagle. We've got Randolph Keys. Mike Benjamin. Lenny Wilkins. Never Nervous, Purvis Ellison. That is a rookie card. Darrell Walker, Rolando Blackman, Tom Garrick, Jeff Martin rookie, and John Sunvold for the Heat. Let's move on to 93, 94 Ultra. These might be, I guess at some point this was $1.99. I think this is probably in some sort of discount bin. I probably didn't pay that much. Maybe I did. These can be bricked, so I gave them a little encouragement there, and we'll see how we do. I see there's a Chris Webber on the back, which is cool. What's cool about this Fleer Ultra design is it shares the same design in hockey and baseball. Love that cross-sport design from Fleer Ultra of the day. And we've got a, who do we got here? Keith Tower, Ramil Robinson. Love that flaming basketball. For hockey, it was a flaming puck. We've got Pete Myers with the Bulls. We've got Bob Martin. This is a rookie. It's funny, they would put these banners up here near the flaming basketball, but for a rookie, they would put rookie. And here it says rookie free agent. Not really sure what that meant. John Koncak. We've got Jaren Jackson. And we've got one stuck to the back of Jaren, who is Marlon Maxey. And we've got an all-rookie series insert of Jamal Mashburn. That's pretty sweet. Now, the inserts in this set, you know, they're not super common. I don't think this is rare by any means, this Jamal Mashburn, but that is pretty cool. An all-rookie series, Jamal Mashburn. How do you like that? Shown here with Dallas. I don't know, is that board worthy? Dallas is not in the finals, so maybe not. Maybe we'll put a Pacer in the finals, or, well, we're not going to see any Thunder in here. Andrew Lang. We've got John Sally, Hersey Hawkins, Wayne Cooper, Pete Chilcutt, and there's that Chris Webber that we saw on the back. Halftime rips, everybody. Jump in. Let's get into this Series 2 from 92-93. Can we, will we, could we hit a Beam Team? All right, off to the races for the Beam Team. It is halftime. Game 4. What are we talking here? We got a Kevin Johnson, once mayor of Sacramento. How do you like that? Rod Strickland, heck of a player for the Blazers there. We've got Harvey Grant, brother of Horace Grant, shown here with the Washington Bullets. Of course, they've changed their name. Walter Bond with the Mavericks. What do we got here? Tony Bennett for the Hornets. And what do we have? A checklist. That is not a Beam Team. That is a checklist. We do have a member's choice of Glenn Rice. Glenn Rice, of course, is part of the Fab Five of Michigan. That is pretty cool. Sam Mack. We've got Timmy Hardaway for the Golden State Warriors. David Robinson, Hall of Famer. How about Anthony Peeler, former Timberwolf, briefly, for a few years anyways. Travis Mays, Brad Lohaus for the Bucks. John Stockton, one of the greatest point guards of all time, and Bo Kimball. And that is going to do it for the halftime rip. Thanks for coming by, everybody. We'll see you next game. Peace.